to Connect with Christina. And guess what? We have Dr. Salley, Willey, Dr. W back at it again.
Hello.
And we're here because we're going to answer the burning question. How do we deal with, what's the first step in treating and mitigating all the things that perimenopause, menopause, and the other thing you said?
Andropause.
Okay, so that's for the next episode. Well, boys, men, we will not forget about you.
We won't forget about you, yeah.
But let's dive into that for all my lady friends.
So the most important thing when it comes to starting out on figuring out what to do is to get the proper lab work done. So much of what might end up being treatment is hormone replacement, and you want to make sure the body is, in fact, not making a hormone before you start giving the hormone. Sometimes it's from symptoms, but sometimes we need to look at the blood work too, because you may have the symptoms, but not enough of a deficiency in blood yet to warrant replacing it. Too much hormone is bad. And so first step is getting those adequate blood levels looked at. So that's for women, that's estrogen, which will be estradiol, testosterone free in total, DHEA, and progesterone are the big ones. And then you also want to look at thyroid, because thyroid and female hormones interact a lot with each other. Sometimes the symptoms aren't female hormones dropping off yet. Sometimes it's the thyroid trying to keep up. And so making sure we look at all the blood work first, that we're treating the correct thing first, is the big important step. And then next is talking with your doctor. What are my options? What are the things I can do? Researching for yourself too, because too many people are willing to just be handed something by a doctor and take it and not really understand what they're taking. And too many physicians, unfortunately, they just don't have the time to sit down with you and explain, here are the pros, here are the cons. And so a little bit of research on your part will be warranted, unfortunately. We've become a culture of self-advocacy when it comes to health. And if your doctor isn't willing to answer your questions, that's a first clue of, hey, maybe this shouldn't be my doctor, or explain some of the research, then they should, again, not be your doctor. But getting those lab results, big first step. And then after that, what comes next? A lot of treatment is going to involve changes in nutrition and lifestyle. If the body doesn't have what it needs to function properly, then it's not going to be functioning properly. Duh. And so just simple dietary changes like focusing on protein with every meal, making sure you're getting lots of fiber, veggies as snacks. That should be everyone's motto anyway, but especially if you're going through hormone changes, veggies as snacks, we need that fiber in. And then movement. Movement is so important during perimenopause, especially if nothing else for the mood effect. You know, exercise can help mood. We're having mood changes all over the place. Let's get some movement in and maybe work some of that out. But as well as then, sorry, I keep hitting the mic, keeping some things at bay, that movement, keeping that fat deposition from happening, that movement, keeping the body limber as it goes through essentially drying out. Let's keep things moving. So there's a lot of options when it comes to treatment. You can do hormone replacement, which is prescription or compounded. You can do herbs, which can be great for some people, but not necessarily work for others. And diet and nutrition are all going to come together to make that transition the smoothest transition it can be.
So we also have to do the work. You might guide us.
Yes. Unfortunately, that's
French fries. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's another misconception with naturopathic medicine. Like I was saying earlier, you know, the pill isn't going to fix you. You have to make some changes too, unfortunately. That's what puts a lot of people off. But it's also, okay, let's work to make these changes sustainable so that you continue feeling good and don't go back to how you felt before. And perimenopause and andropause for men is often when people are kind of forced into those changes, is because they're feeling so bad. It's like, okay, fine. Now I will give up my French fries. Now I will make these changes so that I can start feeling better again. But thankfully, then most keep those changes and continue feeling better afterward.
Yeah, and you said it before too. It's not that like you have to be perfect.
Oh no. Especially during perimenopause and menopause, when you feel like you're just going to lose it. Sometimes you need to eat the ice cream. Sometimes you need to have that pizza. Sometimes you need to have that glass of wine, even if you know it's going to make you feel worse. Sometimes it's just it has to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's allowed. You're allowed to have that. It's not a failure. It's what's getting you through in this moment. those changes that I'm talking about are the everyday changes. You know, if you can't keep having donuts for breakfast every day if you want to feel well going on kind of thing. But if you want to have a donut as your Sunday treat, go for it. So it's finding that balance of how well do you feel, how well do you want to feel, and what changes are you willing to make?
I've had, few friends where they were so down from the menopause, they found that they couldn't even they didn't want to get up from their bed.
It's
They didn't wanna
exhausting.
move.
And that's because of a lot of the things. So that drop off in estrogen especially changes mood. So right then and there, like you're starting out with depression. And then on top of that, you've got these hot flashes disrupting every day of your life and every night of your life. It's waking you up multiple times overnight. So you're not sleeping well.
Wait, you say you're gonna wake up in sweats?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay.
And it might not be a dramatic soaked in sweat. It might just be waking up and feeling it around, your hairline or something. But yeah, it can wake you up.
Christina, what temperature do you sleep at?
I want it cold.
How cold?
Cold, below
60.
You already want it
67?
cold?
I
67
like it.
below her?
Okay.
But I've always been that way.
Okay.
So I don't like real cold. I like fake air cold.
So the fan and
The
all of
fan with the
Okay.
AC,
Okay.
it's so
it. It's just
weird.
a tornado in your
I think
room.
because in the Philippines we didn't have central air. Even the
Oh,
mansions
yeah.
it was never central air. It was like the wall unit ones. So it blasts, and then you have all your. So I feel like it's soothing to me.
Okay. Yeah.
You
I
know?
can see that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
You're good.
Not there yet. Yep.
Fair enough.
But and then I had a friend where she did say once I start to regulate, I don't know if that's the right word, her hormones
Yep.
and stuff, she started to
Yeah.
feel. Because there was a moment in time where it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people think of perimenopause or menopause as this one day you wear this, the next day it's gone. No, it's a process. And as any woman knows and has experienced their hormones, they're different one day to the next as well. That's true going through the decline and the transition is some days you're going to have more like you used to have. And then other days it's going to be back down to the decline and it might come back up a little bit, but not quite as much and then keep going back down. And so there's going to be those ups and downs. They're going to feel more drastic during perimenopause and menopause though, since the ongoing trend is less.
This is why I'm so thankful you're here, because I do want to educate people like you're educating me, and then the spouses both ways.
Yes.
To help each other going through these process.
Because that's a lot of struggle a lot of women and men have is going through those invisible things. I can't look at you and say, oh, your estrogen's dropping right now, isn't it? Because I can't feel what you're feeling inside. I don't feel your itchy ears. I don't feel the hot feeling
I should do
you're
that
feeling,
someday.
right?
Yeah.
You look like your estrogen.
Right?
Dropping.
Yeah. and two men too. It looks like your testosterone's dropping. No, it's you feel your mood drop. You feel maybe not as strong as you used to. All these things that aren't visible. And so it can feel very isolating and it can feel all in your head when no, these are real symptoms you're having that have a real cause. It's a natural cause. It's expected, but that doesn't mean it's not making your life terrible. And that doesn't mean there's not stuff we can do about it too. Yeah, the isolation of it, the misunderstanding of that. Well, because I don't feel that way, you can't be feeling that way. It's no, that's
I
not how
think that's a
anybody
big
works.
thing
Yeah.
that can put a strain on even marriages.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It's just,
And
and
friendships.
most
Yeah.
men,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit, I only know these things because of the podcast that I worked on before, but most men don't know any of this stuff.
Right.
So when it comes to their wives or girlfriends or even friends, it's
Yeah. Well, and it's unfortunately not always a welcome conversation amongst women. They'll insist that because this happened to me this way, it'll happen to you the same way. When no, every body is different. And so maybe you're not having hot flashes like I had. Maybe you're having the itchy ears, which I didn't have. That doesn't make your experience less.
Right.
Or just, less terrible to be experiencing. And so it's getting the conversation started. I'm very thankful for this platform here there's so many things that someone could be experiencing and they're all part of the same thing. And let's just, be kind to each other
Yeah.
as we go through
For
these
sure.
changes.
Well, and we'll definitely have you back and we can focus on the men because that's also.
That's an extremely under-discussed one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's very trendy to, promote women's health and I support that. I mean, I work predominantly in women's health, but that doesn't mean we should do that at the expense of men as well. Yeah.
You were going to say something.
Oh, I was going to just bring up what you said earlier. What did you say earlier? Just buy you tacos and
Tell you you're pretty.
yeah.
Open up the door for us. Like, yeah, it's just like,
We don't know what you guys are going through.
you don't really get a break, you know?
No.
And then,
Yeah.
and honestly, too, like when we have you back, when we have Doc back, I want to dive into like, you know, for the teenagers, because I feel like they're also like, what the heck is happening to me?
And that's not a conversation that happens often too.
No.
It's just told, oh, that's puberty and left. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, but what is puberty?
Yeah. Right.
My own experience with it was kind of like that. It's just, okay, so what does that mean?
Yeah.
No one really told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you brought up a thing earlier where you're like, yeah, and it affects friendships too. And that's true because, you know, you might have a friend that always participated, showed up, and all of a sudden, you know, regressing or not showing up as much. Or it's like, let's take a moment to maybe have the benefit of the doubt of, hey, like of course we don't know what people go through, so that's number one, but also this, like in this stage of life, like it might be a big deal to just even get up out of bed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does happen more drastically with women, but often with men too. We do kind of become a different person sometimes, and it's not permanent. It's just part of the change, and we just got to ride that one out and then, see who comes out on the other side.
I would have to echo that. It's not permanent, guys. If you're going through that, it's not permanent.
It's not permanent. No, we're working towards the permanent stage of, yay, no more periods and done with the hormone fluctuations, but it's a wild ride to get to that point.
Yeah. And that's why we have to have this discussion so we can have support. Because imagine going through that. And then like, you have no support because people are thinking you're just being whatever.
You're being dramatic. Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and then I wrote down the word irritability. So when you talk about that, is that like, because obviously even when teenagers with their puberty or whatever, and then with this perimenopause and menopause, like, is that like you really can't control it?
Yes. Yeah. So irritability, I think a lot of people can relate to in some way being irritable. If you've ever had like the hangry feeling that I get, because that's when I get irritable for sure. I've gone too long without eating. That's when most people have experienced, or not enough sleep. We've had those moments of just stop.
Just get on the 101.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's actually another great one. It's like the road rage, irritability. You're driving along, and all of a sudden you're screaming at the person who just passed you. You know, it's a feeling of, yes, out of control. Yes, I just have to say this. I have to scream this. I have to do whatever about this for something that otherwise you might not think is all that big of a deal. You know, well-fed me doesn't care about a lot and does not care at all about some things that very hungry me is very insistent on right now. That irritability is that it's a passing emotion. It's not a constant one like anger or grief. But it is a very strong and intense one. And so it can be the one people see more than others, definitely.
My sister might kill me for saying this, but her husband keeps like a pack of like protein bars or stuff like that in the car.
Oh yeah.
Because when she gets hungry, he'll just like reach in there and grab one and be like, "Hey."
I keep protein bars and meat sticks and all that in my car because I know how very unpleasant I can be. Yep.
I think on another episode we'll have to like help people find the snacks that are good.
Yes.
Like, apparently the snap peas, something you told me.
The sugar snap peas. Yep.
See?
They're veggies as snacks and they're fantastic.
We might have to go to the grocery store with Doc and be like, pick this up. Pick this up.
We could do an on-site what's good, what's not kind of thing. Yeah.
But on a more serious note, back to that whole tell me sorry. But like with the, the how you could lose friends or let friends down. I thought just now, like imagine going through that feeling and having all of these changes, but then you have to go to work, right? So then you have to check it at the door. So you have to put your best foot forward there because you have to do your job, get paid, pay your bills. So then it's like, what are you left with? So of course you can't go to this, a birthday party that you've gone to for 20 years because you're going through it. Yeah. So I think
it's not just mentally exhausting, it's physically exhausting.
Yeah.
Like your body doesn't have the thing it used to have. And so it's struggling there as well. And yeah, too many people, I think more and more people are starting to at least see the depression side of it and starting to see the physiological side of it, maybe not as clearly, but it's starting to gain some understanding. But there still is the expectation that, no, you just keep showing up. It's like, I can't today. Like, I really, really can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that education piece, though, I feel like is so important because, of course, like the whole irritability thing, when it's like you're kind of, it's not making an excuse for someone's behavior.
Right. Yeah.
Or blaming them for trying to be mean or whatever, but that it's actually is a thing.
Right. It's a thing. It's being caused by something internally, something we have absolutely no control over. I mean, the hangry irritable, yes, I do have some control over. But the hormone irritable, we don't. Like, we were going along, literally went, pew. Yeah. And so that irritability is definitely one that gets people pushed away. And is what breaks up a lot, unfortunately.
So you're going to be here 100 more times.
Right.
But before you let everyone know how to get a hold of you, I want to tell anyone out there who is experiencing any of the things we're talking about to make the first step of giving yourself grace and putting yourself first and reaching out for help because there's help.
There is help. And advocate for yourself as well.
How do they get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is to simply contact the office. That's Inclusive Natural Medicine. We're in Tempe. We're at the corner of Ray and Priest. And just text the phone number, call the phone number, 480-712-7499. Miss Amanda is our...
Amazing.
She runs our front desk. She runs the office, really. And she is ready, willing, and able to walk you through pricing, how appointments work, if your condition is something we'll treat. She knows pretty much all of them. And if she doesn't, she'll ask. And we can absolutely get you on the books and get you started.
And before we bring Doc back, I'll just say, before you start taking all the supplements you see online, social media, Instagram, TikTok, just be cautious. And please elaborate on that. I just want y'all to be healthy and safe.
It's a blessing and a curse with social media. That there's lots of exposure to things that people might not otherwise have known about, but there's also a bunch of people, they're out there to make money, which is fair, but they're selling things. And so things to look out for, things that I always warn people when they're looking at something at social media is anyone who uses the word cure does not know what they're talking about. That is not a medical word, for sure. That is a word that if we're going to use it, we're going to sit down and explain for 10 minutes why we feel this word fits your situation. We don't just use it. So if it's in an ad, they don't know what they're talking about. And also anytime anyone says, I guarantee this will work for you, they don't know what they're talking about. They're selling something. Please don't buy it without asking a physician first whether or not it's something they need. Too many times they are selling something that has side effects for some people, depending on what condition they're coming in with. And those ads don't warn you of those side effects. Those ads don't warn you about that condition. You can buy the product and start taking it and do real harm to yourself. And then also, too, many of these products, there's poor regulation over the products out there. And so many of them can say they contain something when they don't actually, best case scenario. Or they can say they contain something when they really contain something else, and that something else can be damaging. So don't just go off of face value, off of anything that social media says, especially, again, if they say those words, cure or I guarantee, they probably don't know what they're talking about.
And I want to add that you actually study this, and then you study there are some other things you mentioned.
So anytime there's like cited sources or these studies have shown that this product works, is I go through and I read those studies. And then if they have any cited works within them, I go through and I at least glance at those studies too. I see where they are saying this information is coming from, because more often than not, all that anyone's done is read the title of a study. They haven't actually read the abstract. They haven't read the introduction, the data, the conclusion. They haven't read any of that. They just read the title, thought it sounded like it fit their product, and added that to it. And so it's important to, go to someone who actually read the whole study and made sure that what the title said matches what was actually found, because it doesn't always. Even in the most scientific of journals, the title can say the conclusion was this, but then you read through the end of the study and that wasn't the conclusion. So don't just take anything at face value, especially on social media.
There you go. And I mean, for me personally, you know, I've come to you. I'm like, I want to take this, and I'm scared because I don't. My mom had, you know, she needed like a kidney transplant. We'll talk about that later. But during that process, I had to learn and listen to how to be careful with, you know, if you take this, it has an effect with this, you know. And so I definitely, my kids will tell you, you know, I'm like, Leilani, if she sees it, she'll laugh. Because there's times where it's like, just take the medicine, Leilani. And she'll be like, no, my mom said no. So if you can, even for headaches, I'm like, if you can help it, just don't take it. But I'm just, you know, emphasizing that that's wise because I want to go to someone who can guide me and say like, yeah, this is safe to take.
Right.
Especially because what if you don't know what else you're taking?
Right. Yeah.
That has, you know,
even, yeah,
different
because just because
effects.
something's an herb doesn't mean it's 100% safe. And just because something's a plant doesn't mean it won't interact with something else that you're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so don't just start taking things, please.
Yeah, so on our next episode, we're going to go grocery shopping. We're going to go to all these places and, you know, show you what not to do and what to do. Because I know I've done that where I'm like, oh, you know, because,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
it's herbs, it's fine. And then you're like, oh. So
Right.
anyway, we can't wait to have you back. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And until next time, Dr. W. Bye.
Bye.